Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. I want to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand TV series, you will differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's begin with our next episode on the Follow the Brand TV.
Five-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
What lies beneath the surface often hides the answers we seek. Join us on a journey where two worlds collide, marine biology and healthcare, to uncover groundbreaking discoveries. I'm a marine biologist turned healthcare professional. Meet Kyle Roebuck. His unique perspective bridges the gap between oceanic wonders and medical innovation. At Memorial Healthcare System, his work is transforming how we understand and treat diseases. A revelation. A vast majority of cancer drugs have been modeled or derived from organisms in the ocean. The ocean, a reservoir of untapped potential, holds secrets that could redefine our approach to healing. We're moving away from naming cancers by site of origin and towards identifying them by mutational profiles. This shift allows for more precise treatments, accelerating recovery and saving lives. When we decode nature's deepest secrets, we rewrite the future of healing. This conversation will change how you think about innovation in healthcare. Join Grant and Kyle Roebuck on Follow the Brand. Sometimes the most profound breakthroughs begin where two worlds meet. Discover more by tuning into the podcast, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi everyone, my name is Kyle Roebuck. I'm a molecular pathology technologist with Memorial Healthcare System, and I got my start in research, interestingly enough, in marine biology. So I tell people that I'm a marine biologist turned healthcare professional.
Welcome, everybody, to the Follow Brand Podcast. This is your host, Grant McGaugh. We're going to keep it right here in South Florida, in Broward County, at Memorial Healthcare System. Kyle Roebuck here. Now, I ran into this gentleman through the HIMSS organization. I'm a big HIMSS fan, program chair for HIMSS for a very long time, and I found his story to be intriguing. And I've done a lot of work in the cancer world, and we got to talking. He said, "Hey, Grant, I'm doing a lot in genetics. I'm doing precision medicine. I'm doing things that help cancer treatment get better. And I want to tell my story." And I went, "Well, let's hear your story then, Kyle. Let's talk about this. First, introduce yourself."
Hi everyone, my name is Kyle Roebuck. I'm a molecular pathology technologist with Memorial Healthcare System, and I got my start in research, interestingly enough, in marine biology. So I tell people that I'm a marine biologist turned healthcare professional. So that's the short story, and the long story could be for another day.
Well, you're Florida born, I would say. I mean, literally born in the same system in which you work. Well, now, was that planned? Tell us a little bit about your background.
By no means was it planned. Uh, on a rainy day in August in 1991, I was born at Memorial Regional Hospital. Back then, it was called Memorial Hospital. So I'm a South Florida native through and through. Grew up in Pembroke Pines. Went to Florida State University in Tallahassee, and then from there I went and did my master's, my graduate research at Nova Southeastern University, which another full circle moment is now I'm also teaching there as an adjunct professor. So you can say that full circle moments have pervaded my life through and through. So very excited about those two.
I say you're a professor not only at Nova, you're doing some work at Miami College, and obviously you do a lot of work at. I mean, what is driving your passion in this work? Most people, you just said it just rolled off your tongue when you're talking about medical, biological, pathology. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of letters there. Tell us exactly what that is.
Yeah. So what we do nowadays in precision medicine and specifically in oncology, we're moving away from the typical naming cancers and naming tumors by the site of origin, and we're moving towards identifying them by mutational profiles and what mutations are in that patient's tumor, and finding targetable treatments, precision treatments that are actually going after those mutations themselves, instead of just a broad spectrum chemotherapy that you've been getting for decades for now, up until now. So that's the interesting part of the field, and how we're developing new therapies, over time. And we're also targeting specific mutations in the patient's tumor instead of just treating everyone as a one size fits all type of approach.
I think that's important. What you just said, as far as therapies, medications. I mean, just having cancer itself, or telling somebody they have cancer is tough. And then if you have more of a generic approach, you really don't know how that medication or that therapy or that treatment is going to behave, for that particular individual. So kind of trial and error. So when you're saying we're going to more of a precise treatment path, that means you're honing in and taking out all the unknowns, trying to get into a known element and try to get to a better result. Have you seen that to be the case now that you're in this field and you're seeing the end results of a lot of these cases?
Yeah. I mean, you could have two different tumors that are from the same site of origin, AKA the lung, the brain, pancreas, but the mutational profiles could be completely different. And so in order to have that personalized approach, you have to do the biomarker testing. And once you have those biomarkers profiled, you can find which eligible therapies are available for that patient. And so it really is a highly personalized approach it's reducing side effects that you get with traditional chemotherapies and eventually being more effective than those therapies.
This is important. Now, when you say biomarkers, are you talking about an individual's biomarker, or is that like a benchmark within the medical realm?
So a biomarker is a molecule or something specific in the patient that is indicative of disease or of progression of disease, things along those lines. But specifically in oncology, we talk about biomarkers as what are the drivers of tumorigenesis, or what's driving the formation of that tumor. And those are the types of mutations that you're trying to target and trying to investigate to find out what would be the most efficacious and advantageous treatment to basically combat that tumorigenesis or the formation of that tumor. And I'm talking specifically for solid tumors in cancer. Generically speaking, cancer is divided up into two groups: the solid tumors and the blood cancers, which are the leukemias, the lymphomas, the myelomas. Those are also targetable, but that's a different realm in terms of biomedical research and testing and that sort.
You're a pathologist. I want to help my audience understand. There's the cancer doctor and an oncologist. You are the pathologist. How do you work together?
So I'm not a pathologist. Pathologist is an MD, is a trained doctor. So I'm a molecular pathology technologist, and what I do is I perform the testing. I perform the testing from the tissue all the way up until there's data that is informative for the oncologist to use in guiding their treatment regimen. So we work intimately with the pathologists, who in turn work with the oncologists, which are the actual treating physicians that are dealing with patients day in and day out. So that's the main distinction there.
That's a major distinction. So like when you go in, and I've seen this happen, you go in, you get a biopsy, which is a piece of tissue, right? And they take that biopsy and then they take it through different testing. So when they take it through different testing, is that your world? You're actually looking at that tissue and trying to figure out what's going on?
That's exactly right. So normally a person has a biopsy or a surgery and a piece of tissue is taken out of them. And traditionally it's fixed in a chemical called formalin, which stabilizes it, what we call histologically, which is it preserves the molecular structure of all of the internal components of that tissue. And then afterwards, after it's fixed in that chemical, it's embedded in what's called paraffin wax. And that combination of the formalin fixation and the paraffin embedding, is what we call it, is called FFPE. That's what the FFPE stands for. And that's traditionally what's used nowadays to do the diagnostics. And so that's essentially your starting tissue that you begin the process of discovering these biomarkers.
This is interesting. Now I want to ask, because you're at this intersection of healthcare and technology, because I met you at HIMSS. HIMSS is the Health Informatics Systems Society. Now I'm curious as to how you're applying technology. Are you applying, known AI algorithms? Are you doing scanning, imaging? Tell us how you utilize technology in your trade.
So one particular method to discover these biomarkers is called next generation sequencing. And that's a method to scan essentially a vast majority of biomarkers within a tumor. In this, if we give this example in oncology, to find all of the specific nucleotide bases that are in a sequence that make up that tumor. And to find those mutations, we have to align those sequences to what's called a reference genome, which is a grouping of human genomes that have been kind of the gold standard of what we use as comparison to basically call mutations in that patient's tumor. And so there's a lot of technological requirements to do that, a lot of algorithms, a lot of information technology type solutions that are needed to do that computational generation of that data. So that's really that's the demand for information technology in that sense. And then as you start delving into the how it's integrated into electronic health records and patient charts, that's another whole level of demands on information technology and use of algorithms and importing that data into patient charts and into EHRs.
Oh, I'm a Midwest boy through and through. I grew up in Detroit, outside Detroit. I was born in Chicago, but I went to school in Indiana and Missouri, or Misery as I fondly call it. No offense to any Missourians, but yeah, it was a great young life in the Midwest. the value I think I bring and what I've learned is how to, again, navigate these diverse relationships that exist in healthcare and really project manage at a level to make change happen. And that really is synonymous with information technology and digital today. Simplification and overall getting access to the right care at the right time, at the right place is absolutely critical.
What happens when healthcare, finance, and leadership collide? You get Camilla Strother, a powerhouse redefining financial wellness for professionals building legacies. Join us as we explore her inspiring journey and how she's transforming lives through allied financial strategies. I've walked in the shoes of those I serve, balancing a demanding career, planning for the future, and still trying to live fully in the present. Her path from healthcare technology to financial empowerment is a testament to resilience and vision. Financial wellness isn't just about money. It's about creating options, building legacies, and achieving peace of mind. Her approach goes beyond numbers, focusing on empowering individuals to take control of their financial futures and live life on their terms. Grant McGaw emphasizes, this is more than a conversation. It's a blueprint for empowerment, vision, and growth. Discover how Camilla's strategies are paving the way for a new era of financial wellness and legacy building. Camilla invites you, join us to discover how to take control of your future because your legacy starts today. Tune in to From Healthcare to Wealthcare, Redefining Financial Futures with Camilla Strother, available soon on your favorite platform.
I mentioned compounding interest. Well, that compounding interest can work both ways. It can work against you on a credit card, where you can have that interest at 24%, 29%, and that will just compound. That amount that you have just continues to grow if you don't pay it off. And that interest it's like you make a payment, but it's not really touching it because now you have all this interest on top of it. You really want that interest in your savings.
This is important information. So you're taking massive amounts of data, of information that you have in various databases to, I guess, cross-reference, trying to get to a particular understanding of what you have in front of you as far as this tissue, whatever its molecular regeneration is doing to kind of isolate the cancer and what it is. A lot of people, now I would like you to tell our audience what exactly is cancer. I mean, they understand it's a different cellular generation, but it's a type of disease that is different from other things that are happening that causes you to do this kind of work. Tell us more about what cancer is and how, when you have all this data and this information, what you're able to then instruct the oncologist or pathologist on.
So when you break it down into the simplest terms, cancer is really just uncontrolled cellular division. So normally in our normal cells, they go through a series of checkpoints as they get ready to divide, and they grow and they divide again under a process called mitosis. In cancerous cells, the instructions to go through those processes are a little bit damaged. And so the cells don't normally go through those processes checked in a series of checkpoints. They're bypassing those checkpoints. They're going faster. They're multiplying unregulated and unchecked. And that's what causes the eventual formation of a tumor, which is just a bunch of cells growing in one area that form an actual mass. So that's really what cancer is. It's uncontrolled cell division and cells that kind of have gone rogue compared to the cells that are essentially behaving normally.
This is interesting. But we don't know what causes that to happen. What causes that mutation? Is that within, you said it's in the instructions at the cellular level? Is it just, what do we have? Do we have information about that?
Yeah, so there's two main groups of genes that are controlling those cellular processes. One group's called oncogenes, and then another group is called tumor suppressor genes. So tumor suppressor genes are there, and their main responsibility is to inhibit uncontrolled cell division. And so in those tumor suppressor genes, if those are mutated, they are not doing their job to suppress tumor formation. And conversely, in oncogenes, those are genes that induce cellular proliferation and cellular division. So by the absence of mutations in oncogenes and by the presence of mutations in tumor suppressor genes, the combination of those or them working by themselves will lead to the production of a tumor.
And then do you take this information, once you've done your work and you've done your research, then do you then, you sit down with the oncologist or the pathologist, this is the work that I'm presenting to you. Is that what happens, or is it different?
Yeah, so that data is provided to a pathologist, and that data is analyzed by that pathologist, and they determine what is relevant for that tumor type. And so that once that data report is completed, that gets sent to the oncologist, and then that oncologist digests that information with all the other information that they're getting and decides on a treatment regimen from that data.
This is interesting. Now, you said you're a professor, and you're a professor at two institutions, at Nova and also Miami-Dade College. Are you teaching this type of information and technology, or is it something totally different?
I'm teaching this in a much more rudimentary sense, undergraduate and graduate level, not specifically cancer related, but more of a generic genomics and genome biology sense. But the principles and the ideas and the concepts are similar. It's just on a much more undergraduate and graduate level, not as high level as what I'm speaking about now and what I do on a day-to-day basis in the lab.
This is interesting. Now, genomics, there's different distinctions, right? As we get into now genomics. And genomics is a whole nother animal because it affects so many different things. And how do you look at genomics? And if you had to give a definition, like, hey, Professor Roebuck, what is genomics?
Well, it's really the study of a genome of an organism in its broadest sense. And that's where I came from research actually on marine invertebrates and organisms in the ocean that are really rudimentary and preliminary study organisms for things that are happening in cancer. And for example, a lot of cancer drugs are isolates from sponges or derivatives of secondary metabolites of sponges that are actually found in the ocean. So that was my first work about a decade ago. But then it's led me here to do the work on actual patients that have been diagnosed with cancer, and has offered me the ability to give back so much more of my education and my background to help human health in a much greater sense. So that's kind of the journey a little bit longer of an explanation of the journey I've been on.
No, this is interesting. You just told me that you are curing cancer from the ocean and beings in the ocean. Is that what I heard?
Yes. Yeah. So a lot of people are surprised at the fact that a lot of the cancer drugs, a vast majority of the cancer drugs, have been modeled or have been derived or have been synthetically made based off of derivatives of sponges and other organisms in the ocean. And that's just another reason why we need to protect the oceans. But that's another talk in and of itself. But yeah, that's again, that's part of my story, and how I've moved from a marine biologist turned to healthcare professional.
Now, as you go through that story, I want you to think about this, starting out and getting your undergrad and then going through grad school, now being out in the world, actually doing this work, teaching this work. What is the most interesting thing that just really kind of mind blows you about the work that you do?
Really, I think it's just the fast-paced nature of how how many things are developing on a day-to-day basis, what things are being discovered on a day-to-day basis. That's what got me so interested in science in the first place. It's just how much technology is changing, how much we're finding out day to day, new developments, new discoveries, and that's, to me, is the most exciting part of science in general, and then even more so biology, and if you get really granular in terms of what I do today, is cancer biology.
And you've intrigued me. I mean, I've learned something big. For me, it's a big thing that we're getting cancer treatments from microorganisms or organisms in the ocean that we find that then can then combat this mutation. And really, your body is kind of fighting itself, is what I'm hearing in cancer. And I've heard that there's certain other causes. People are looking at diet could be a cause. There's some external forces that could be getting in there and creating these types of things, or maybe your immune system is just not as strong to withstand some of these activities that are going on at the cellular level. I mean, this sounds to be like this. It's Mortal Kombat that's taking place, right? Right. And you're finding all these different ways to solve for this problem that's occurring within a person. I find that fascinating.
It is. It really is fascinating about all of the biomedical research that's going into cancer itself, and finding information about all the factors that could go into the production of a tumor inside your body, and what it also makes you appreciate how many things have to go right, because in an instant things can go wrong, and so it it reminds me how many things have to go right, and it gives me a much greater appreciation for science, for biology, for what I've done in the past, what I'm doing now, and just the benefits that are being imparted onto human health.
Now, you've been invited on many stages. People want to hear from you and talk to you about your research, right, and what you're doing. Why are you, Kyle Roebuck, being asked to come onto these stages, and what exactly is the kind of knowledge that you're imparting?
I think it's my diverse background, the different things that I've been lucky enough to be a part of, and to experience and really learn. I think that multidisciplinary and that diverse background is a huge attribute for myself and my career, and it's given me perspective, and it's allowed me to learn things that most other people haven't learned, that are maybe in the clinic and in healthcare, because I've come from research and now I'm in the clinic and I'm doing clinical stuff. So I think that diversity and that multidisciplinary background is very beneficial for myself and my career, and I think it's also become beneficial to my current role, and at my current day job, and then also for my professor, my teaching responsibilities as well.
Well, I tell you, you've sold me on your credibility and your authenticity when you marry those things together. That when you say something in this realm, it rings true. People are like, huh, if Kyle, I'm sure Kyle knows what he's talking about because he's done the research. You always like that. He's not going to just throw some ideas out there. Like, I've done the research. I've seen the trials. I know what happens on the before, the during, and the after. I want to ask you this. in 5 years, let's say we fast forward 5 years, it's the year 2030. What is Kyle Roebuck doing?
Man, who's your favorite podcaster? Man, Grant, man. I love Grant's podcast. Well, who's Grant? I'm going to send you the link. I love Grant.
I love the interview. I've done a lot of these, and this is a great one. It's always great to talk to people who know what they're doing, and it's clear you're a great host, and you've done this many times before.
I feel great that we're having this conversation here. Met a new person in business who I previously didn't know.
It was an amazing podcast. Grant is an amazing interviewer. I learned a lot.
I really enjoyed this. Great questions, great talk track. Super appreciate you having me on. It's been a very fun episode to talk about a lot of things that I don't always get to dive into. So this has been a fantastic conversation.
I wouldn't be where I am here today, of course, not on this stage. However, not in my current business projection and my current business model without working with you.
Follow the Brand TV broadcast host, Grant McGaw, as he visits with top executives and entrepreneurs to find out their secrets of success with their personal brand. Follow the Brand TV broadcast host as he focuses on brand development to build better relationships, bring value to your business, relationships, and career. You will enjoy listening to each episode that is tailored to speak to you directly. If you're looking for this type of clarity in terms of building your brand, you have tuned into the right station. Each episode will help you to shape a conversation in the 5-star BDM network of 20,000 professionals and become a springboard for your corporate engagement and business opportunities. Each guest will frame their story in the areas of personal branding, business development, career development, financial empowerment, and technology innovation. Grant McGaw explains why he is the CEO and owner of his own professional career. Grant is an accomplished business leader and entrepreneur who wants to give back to individuals to grow their personal brand strategy. Tune in as he weaves his story about new possibilities, while to you exceed expectations. If you love storytelling, this show will make for fun.
Grant McGaw, CEO of 5-Star BDM, is turning heads in the healthcare and information technology sectors with his groundbreaking approach to personal branding and business development. By challenging conventional strategies, he's setting a new standard for how executives present themselves and their businesses to the world. McGaw's expertise isn't just about standing out. It's about strategic guidance, generating leads, and building networks that propel executives beyond their competition. His focus on authenticity allows leaders to leverage their unique stories, driving exponential growth and success in their industries. Beyond branding, McGaw is a fervent advocate for diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. He's committed to helping organizations cultivate environments where innovation and collaboration thrive through inclusive cultures. And for those eager to dive deeper, McGaw hosts the Follow the Brand podcast. Here, he unpacks the intricacies of personal branding and business growth, offering valuable insights for professionals eager to redefine their identities and share their narratives with the world.
I think that's the exciting part, is the not knowing, because so much is changing, and so much has changed in my life in the last 3.5, 4 years. And I think that the industry that I'm working in is exponentially changing day after day and year after year. So I don't really know where my career is going to take me. I'm just excited for the ride.
Well, let's take that for a ride just a little bit further. I want to unpack that just a little bit. I want to ask you this. If you could make a difference in what you're doing in cancer treatment, money wasn't an object, nothing was an obstacle in your way, let's just say, what would that be?
I think in the most basic sense, I would just like to get cancer patients treated faster. And whether it be, diagnosed faster. We talk a lot about screening initiatives nowadays. We talk about education. We talk about advocacy. All of those things will help bring diagnostics of cancer up to the forefront and expedite those, so that you are not diagnosing people in late stage cancer. You're not diagnosing metastatic disease. You can help save more lives because you're getting those people in the appropriate treatments faster. And that, I think, is the most ambitious and worthwhile goal that we can go for right now, and we can strive to work towards.
I like that. I think that's not only a nice goal, that's something we can change. The awareness factor,
Exactly.
like you said, screening, making sure that we're informing our population, our communities. You've got to get in there early and get these kinds of screenings to take place. And so answer me this, because sometimes, you get a yearly physical, right? But cancer screening, you don't normally get screened for cancer. How can we help with that?
I think it depends on the specialty, the medical specialty. I think, at my last physical, I was asked, when were you at your dentist the last time? When were you at a dermatologist the last time? Because of the prevalence, especially in South Florida, of skin cancer, and how things go unnoticed, or you don't, things are out of sight, out of mind, and going to those primary the primary doctor visits that are those doctors are asking you, are you going to those specialties? Are you having those regular checkups? Are you doing as much as you can to preempt any of this, this possible diagnosis of cancer, whether it be, an optometrist, or, a urologist, or a gastroenterologist? Are you having those symptoms? Are you being provided that education, so that when you do potentially have those symptoms, are you aware how to go about it? What do you need to do? And that, I think, is really powerful in how I think healthcare is changing, and to enable patients to take ownership of their own healthcare, and to be their best advocate, and understand that, your intuition may be the right call, even though you might be dismissed by a doctor. You know your body, and you know your health better than anyone else does. And so enabling and empowering patients to take ownership of their healthcare, I think, is another great initiative that's going on right now.
I think you're right. I talked to a doctor last summer, and he was a cancer doctor, oncologist in the melanoma world. And we're talking about melanoma. And I didn't know. He said, "Do you realize, like, most people, when they actually get melanoma, or the cancer, they get it when they're a child, because
Right.
they've been in the sun, but it doesn't develop, till usually much later. So you're already exposed to it. Where you don't even realize it. You could have been 5, 6 years old, because I guess something like your skin is not as strong to withstand some of the sun's rays and that type of thing. I didn't know that. Had no idea that going to the beach, you're 5, 6 years old, and if you didn't have the right sunblocks on, you could be developing cancer, and you wouldn't even realize you have it 2 years later.
Right. And it could be children don't like to listen to their parents, and if they being told, go put on the sunblock, and they don't put it on well enough, or they don't do it at all, that could be another issue. But yeah, it's there's a lot of potential causes of cancer, and I think, especially in South Florida, being the Sunshine State, and being a hotbed for no pun intended, for the sun. Melanoma is a particularly problematic, a cancer type in the region. So
Let me ask you this: when it comes to genetics, do you find that certain demographics of people are prone to different types of cancers, whether it's their ethnicity, their race, maybe even their location, than others?
I think there's a lot of research, especially now, going into social determinants of health, and the effects of race and ethnicity, and whether they're genetically predisposed to different types of cancer based on which demographic you belong to. But I think that's still an ongoing area of research, and it needs a little bit more investigation.
Do you think, is it genetic? Let's say your parent had cancer. Is the likelihood you had cancer, or a grandparent, or is it something different?
Yeah, I think there's definitely anecdotal stories of parents and grandparents and family lineage of whether it's breast cancer, colon cancer, pancreatic, prostate, what have you. There's definitely anecdotal evidence that shows that there's potentially a genetic link there. And we heard maybe about a decade ago or 15 years ago, testing for the BRCA gene was very hot, was a very popular thing. And so that's, there's some evidence that there is a genetic predisposition for developing cancer, but I think it needs a lot more investigational research to really hammer down and nail down that true definite link.
Well, I want to get you some research grants and some more funding. I want
It sounds good.
Any way I can, because it's important, right?
It is.
To understand that. I mean, who would have known? Hey, let's go out to the ocean and look at some sponges and do some, some research on them and see what they have going on within them can actually help a human being to cure cancer. To me, that's such a leap. It's almost miraculous. Like, how would that even occur? But you're telling me that there's so many things in the natural world that potentially can help in our human journey that we probably haven't even discovered yet, because maybe potentially lack of research, lack of funding to actually go out and discover these kinds of things. And I think you are that kind of person that likes to discover these types of new things.
I do. That scientific curiosity that was born within me years ago still is what drives me and interests me. And it just takes a simple Google search to Google sponges and cancer, or marine natural products and cancer, or marine natural products medical uses, and you can see the vast amounts of research that have gone on, that are ongoing, and that will go on in the future. And that's a really exciting enmeshment, if you will, between my previous passion of marine biology and now my healthcare aspirations. And I think marrying those two together is honestly like a dream come true for me. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
I'm excited you are a part of it. I'm excited to hear more about this. I think it's exciting, to be very honest, to understand what you're doing and can help, our current generations and our future generations. I'd love to see cancer just eradicated, so potentially maybe there's a way of doing that, because if it's just instructions that are being given in the cellular world, that is gone amiss. It's like a virus, like we have viruses in code. So it's a miscode. Maybe there is something there that we can reverse and get past cancer and move on to other challenges in the human world. Before I let you go, Kyle, I always like to ask my guests this, because now I like to be very, very transparent with my audience. How do you feel? And this is the first time you've been on the Follow the Brand podcast as a guest, and now you've gone through, the entire interviewing process. How do you feel about this?
I loved it. I loved how it was a conversation. It didn't feel like an interrogation. And it was just a natural, and it gave me the platform to say a lot of the things that I just don't get to do professionally. I don't get to, expound on my interests. I don't get to expound on my my professional history and where I've come from, where I am now, and what I want to do in the future. So I'm very appreciative of this platform that you've graciously given me, and I'm excited for what's to come, and hopefully to get on here again in the future.
I'd love to have you on. I'd love to see you in person again. One of the HIMSS events down here in South Florida. This has been wonderful. Give the audience how to contact you. Are you, is it LinkedIn? Is it email? What's the best way?
Yeah, LinkedIn would be the quickest and most efficient way. Kyle Roebuck. If you search that and you can match my profile picture, which will be shared by by Grant, then you can find me, connect with me, and reach out with any questions you have. And I'd love to connect and to build that community even further.
Oh yeah, and remember, he's not with the Sears and Roebuck family. He has his own
I
family.
wish. I'm sorry, Grant, but if I was with Sears and Roebuck, I probably wouldn't be speaking with you right now.
Right, we talked about that earlier. That is fun, but you do have a family business here in Florida. Was it Roebuck and Roebuck Insurance? Or?
Yes, Roebuck Insurance, roebuckins.com.
Excellent.
So for any of your insurance needs, I decided not to go into insurance, but the rest of the family is. So if you need insurance, definitely give them a call.
Well, we'll definitely do that. And I encourage your entire audience, your entire family to tune into all the episodes of Follow the Brand. They can do so at the number 5. That's 5-star BDM. That's B for brand, D for development, M for masters.com. This has been wonderful, Kyle. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Grant. Hope to see you soon.
Absolutely.
Welcome to Follow the Brand, where we turn leaders into legends. I'm Grant McGaw, CEO of 5-Star BDM. Today, we're not just talking about executive presence, we're going to transform yours. Executive presence isn't about power, it's about trust. And here's the good news. You can build it at any level. Let's dive into how you can command any room you enter. Dr. Kimberly Long, CEO of California Nurse Leaders, shared a profound insight. The moment you try to prove your power is the moment you lose it. Executive presence is about building trust and authority without force. It's about creating an environment where people lean in to listen. You can achieve this by being authentic and consistent in your communication and actions. Consider Dr. Long during a hospital merger. She lowered her voice instead of raising it, and the room leaned in. Similarly, Sarah Chen, a project manager, used this technique in meetings. Within 3 months, her team began to emulate her style. Denzel Ross, now president of IU Health South Central, built his presence by identifying communication gaps and lifting others up. These examples show how presence spreads through subtle yet powerful actions. Your action step. In your next 3 meetings, try speaking 10% slower and 20% quieter. Watch what happens. For team leads, start delegating key responsibilities. Managers should use meetings as learning labs. Directors build cross-functional bridges. The key shift? Stop being the answer person. Start being the question person. This approach fosters growth and empowers others. Patrick Green, CEO of UF Health Jacksonville, uses a communication matrix to simplify complex ideas. His 3-step formula: start with impact, follow with insight, end with action. For example, instead of saying, "We need to upgrade our systems," he says, "We can save 50 lives this year by investing in this technology. Here's how." This clarity builds influence and trust. 3 common mistakes: reactivity, over-explaining, and imposter syndrome. When challenged, take a slow sip of water to respond thoughtfully. Instead of defending every detail, offer a headline first. Dr. Long still gets nervous before board meetings but prepares thoroughly. Remember, nervousness is energy. Executive presence isn't a destination, it's a practice. Start where you are, use what you have, and build from there.
When you deliver on your promise and you have the result you were looking for, and everybody in the room is like, wow, this is what we're talking about.
In today's world, where every voice competes for attention, true influence stands out. One visionary has redefined the landscape of brand building. His name is Grant McGaw, and his innovative approach is setting new standards in the industry. Recognized among the top 30 global gurus in branding for 2025, Grant McGaw is a name synonymous with transformative brand leadership. His work is not just about creating brands, it's about crafting legacies. Through his visionary strategies, he is helping leaders across the globe redefine their impact and influence. At the heart of Grant's success is the revolutionary BRAVE framework. BRAVE stands for branding, resilience, authenticity, vision, and excellence. Each element is meticulously crafted to guide leaders in building brands that are not only successful, but also meaningful. Branding sets the foundation, resilience ensures longevity, authenticity builds trust, vision drives innovation, and excellence guarantees quality. This framework is where data meets storytelling and strategy meets authenticity. From healthcare to technology, Grant's methodology is reshaping how industries approach branding. His strategies are not confined to a single sector. They are universal, adaptable, and effective. By integrating the BRAVE framework, organizations are experiencing a transformation in how they connect with their audiences, ensuring their message resonates and endures. Grant McGaw's influence extends beyond frameworks. Through his best-selling books and the acclaimed Follow the Brand podcast, he shares insights and strategies that empower leaders to elevate their brand presence. These resources are a testament to his commitment to shaping the future of branding. Grant McGaw is not just influencing the present, he is shaping the future of brand influence. His work is a beacon for those seeking to lead with purpose and impact. By embracing his methodologies, leaders are equipped to navigate the complexities of modern branding with confidence and clarity. Discover the BRAVE approach to brand leadership and unlock the potential of your brand. At 5-Star BDM, where vision meets results, Grant McGaw invites you to embark on a journey of transformation. Experience the power of strategic branding and redefine your impact in the world. At 5-Star BDM, we don't just elevate brands, we forge industry icons. Our mission is to amplify your business and personal brand through dynamic AI-enhanced strategies and an elite professional network of over 20,000 experts. We empower entrepreneurs and small to medium-sized businesses to lead, scale, and transform. Our powerful network accelerates your speed to market and connects you with unparalleled growth opportunities. If you're ready to lead, we'll position your brand to set the industry standard. Explore our comprehensive services designed to build your brand, drive growth, and innovate your business. From personal branding and business development to technology solutions and investment banking, we offer tailored strategies that deliver measurable results and help you dominate your market. Our personal branding service uniquely tailors your professional story. Starting at just $99 per project, we offer online courses, in-person workshops, and scheduled weekly calls. Perfect for individuals beginning their personal branding journey, we help you craft a legacy that commands attention and respect. Strategic plans and execution are at the heart of our business development services. We focus on sustainable growth, helping you secure funding, scale operations, and expand your market reach. Our expertise ensures your business thrives in competitive environments. Innovate with custom artificial intelligence, machine learning, and software solutions tailored to your needs. Our technology services are designed to enhance your business operations and drive efficiency, ensuring you stay ahead in the digital age.
Discover real stories and real results. From healthcare startups to tech entrepreneurs, our clients have achieved extraordinary success.
For instance, a healthcare brand transformation led to a 40% drop in patient infections, showcasing our impact in diverse industries.
Okay, so picture this. You've got this amazing cardiologist, right?
Yeah.
Super skilled, but nobody really knows about them.
Yeah.
They're doing all this incredible work with preventative care, but they just haven't gotten the word out.
Happens all the time.
I know, right? So then imagine that same cardiologist
Okay.
makes this awesome personal brand video. It's got patient success stories, their unique approach to care.
Okay.
And suddenly, boom, they're not just another doctor in a sea of white coats.
Right. They stand out.
Exactly. They become the expert, the one everyone's looking for. And that's the power we're diving into today.
I like it.
We're going to unpack how to make that happen. And to help us out, we've got Grant McGaw's insights.
McGaw. He's the real deal.
Oh, absolutely. He's totally nailed this whole video thing for building your personal brand.
Especially on LinkedIn and YouTube, I see his stuff everywhere.
Right. Everywhere.
Yeah.
So think about it. You spent years honing your craft, becoming an expert.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Totally.
Yeah.
And today, we're going to break down how to translate all that into a video that screams you.
So people actually get it. What makes them different?
Yes, it's about making you the recognized authority in your field, whatever that field may be.
Makes sense. Because you can be the best in the world at something.
Right.
But if nobody knows it, what's the point?
Exactly. So it all starts with figuring out what McGaw calls your unique value proposition.
Love that term, unique value proposition.
Right. It's like, let's say you have two physical therapists, both amazing, both super qualified.
Okay, I'm following.
But one focuses on geriatric care, the other's all about sports injuries. See the difference?
Totally. Different patients, different needs.
Exactly. And their videos need to reflect that. So the big question is,
what's your superpower? What problem do you solve better than anyone else?
Bingo. Because it's not enough to just list your credentials.
Nobody wants to hear another boring resume rundown.
I know. And that's where McGaw's take on different video lengths comes in.
Okay. Short versus long form.
You got it. He says both are essential.
They each have their place.
Right? Like a short, punchy video on Instagram, that's your hook. Gets people interested.
Grabs their attention.
Exactly. Then you lead them to your website or maybe a longer YouTube video.
Or you can really dive deep, show off that expertise.
Perfect. So let's go back to our cardiologist. They know their niche preventative care. Now,
They gotta write that script.
Yeah. How do they translate their passion into something that hooks viewers right from the start?
Here's an idea. Let's say our cardiologist had this patient who totally reversed their pre-diabetic condition.
Wow.
Just through lifestyle changes. Amazing, right? So open the video with that.
Okay.
Show the patient happy, healthy hiking with their family. Bam! Emotional connection right away.
I can see it now.
Then bring in the doctor, talking about their approach.
Powerful.
And weave in visuals, healthy meals, exercise routines, make it dynamic.
See, I never would have thought to start a video that way.
Genius. And you know what else? People always stress about fancy cameras and equipment.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly, good audio is king. Absolutely. If people can't hear you clearly, they're gone, no matter how pretty the picture is.
So a good mic is more important than a fancy camera.
100%. A decent smartphone and a lavalier mic, you're golden.
That's good to know. So audio's covered, stories nailed. What about the visuals themselves?
Okay, so we're talking preventative cardiology, right?
Yep.
Think about it. Anatomical diagrams, stats on heart disease prevention.
Okay, starting to get the picture.
You could even overlay text during a patient testimonial, highlight key takeaways.
Oh, I like that.
Or use animation to explain a complex procedure. Keep it engaging.
That's so smart.
And here's another McGaw essential: captions and graphics.
He talks about those a lot.
For good reason. They make your content accessible to everyone.
Including people with hearing impairments.
Exactly. But it's also about engagement.
Okay, how so?
Think about someone scrolling through their feed on mute.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
A strong graphic or a well-timed caption. That's what makes them stop and watch.
It's like those recipe videos. They show you every step, even if you can't hear.
Exactly. Visual storytelling.
Love it. So we've got this amazing video now.
Don't let it gather dust.
Right.
Well,
McGaw's all about repurposing content.
Take that longer YouTube video, slice it up into little nuggets.
Bite-sized pieces.
Perfect for Instagram, Twitter, little teasers, a patient story, a quick cholesterol tip,
Get people interested.
and lead them back to the full video.
Makes sense. So we've covered the story, the platforms, but how do we know if it's actually working?
Gotta track those metrics.
Okay. Beyond just view counts.
Yeah. Are people commenting, sharing, dig into the analytics?
See what's resonating.
Are they finding your video through search, or are they coming from social media shares?
That tells you what's working.
And what needs tweaking?
So it's not a one and done thing.
It's a process.
This has been so insightful. So to sum it all up.
It's not about vanity.
Right. It's about showcasing your expertise, building trust.
Becoming that go-to expert.
The leader in your field.
Think about something you're really proud of in your work. How can you bring that to life visually in a way that really connects with people?
That's the challenge.
And the opportunity.
Awesome stuff. Food for thought, for sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks for breaking it all down.
My pleasure.
Tune in for our next show or click on our website at www.5starbdm/followthebrandtv. Thank you.